Good morning. Are you cause or are you effect? Very fundamental question. If we are at effect of our lives, then we're just like a little leaf being blown around by the winds of fate. We're like a puppet on a string. We have no say about what's happening, and all we can do is revert to limbic brain and reactiveness, deal with a lot of adrenaline and a lot of drama, a lot of helplessness and a lot of hopelessness. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to do that. I did that. I got really good at it, and then I graduated to where I don't have to be at effect anymore. I can be cause to my life. I can decide what my life will be. I can decide how I will feel. I can decide what I will think. I can decide what will happen in my experience. But this leap isn't done lightly. To go from life is happening to me to I am happening to life takes a big jump. Most people on the planet think that life is happening to them. That it's the economy, it's their socioeconomic status, it's their gender, it's their sexual preference, it's their age, it's their education, it's the political climate where they are. Most people think that those are the confines and the dictates of what they can and cannot experience in life. And we don't do that. That makes us unusual. And that's a nicer word than some words have been used to describe us. It makes us different because we are saying that what we are inside of us is the focal point for what happens on the outside. And that even if something is happening on the outside, we learn in science of mind to develop the clarity, the determination of focus, the wherewithal to hold our thoughts clear and not get bogged down in the outside. And I'm a people watcher. And so I've been watching large groups of people this week. I've been watching the people on the news. I've been watching the people in Walmart and Ingles. I've been watching the people that have called me on the phone with varying levels of entanglement to the weather. And just noticing how quickly we can go, even those of us who are trained, how quickly we can go from, I'm in charge of my life, to, oh my God, a disaster is coming. I don't mean to say at all you shouldn't prepare. You know, put your faith in God and tie your camel to a tree. It's just common sense. That's an Islamic saying. So that's just common sense, but when we step over the line into fear, we have become reactive. And when we are reactive, remember, this is what happens. We go back to caveman Barbara. I'll talk about myself, cavewoman Barbara, where there could be a saber-toothed tiger jumping at any moment. And when I tell myself a story that there is in fact a tiger, my whole body changes. I go into limbic brain. I release adrenaline throughout my entire body. My heart starts to pump. I sweat, and all of the blood goes from my brain to my limbs so that I can either fight or flight. When I do that, I get stupid. Because I don't have any blood left in I'm just talking about me. I'm sure none of you went through this. None of you went through this. Just talking about me, I get stupid. And so when I don't know and I'm just afraid, I look for answers outside of myself. That is such a setup to look for answers outside of myself because nobody can tell me what's right for me other than me. And as soon as I give my power away to try to have someone else live my life for me, then I am totally in a victim state. And I don't like to be in a victim state. I don't like the way that feels. I did that. I got really good at it. I graduated from it. So now I'm in a different kind of a state where I can breathe and say, well, what's the worst thing that can happen? Whatever it is, I'm sure that I will be fine. Oh, well, winds may blow. Well, so winds blow. Rain may come down. So rain may come down. Rivers may rise. Well, rivers may rise. Through it all, I am still at cause to my experience. I am the one deciding what will happen to me. And we don't just do that, as I said, just by snapping our fingers. It takes a lot of training to turn away from the condition and focus upon that which we want. It takes a lot of practice to focus on what we want, no matter what the diagnosis is. It doesn't matter what someone in a white coat has said to us. We are still at cause to our life, unless we take all of our power and give it to the person in the coat to tell us then whether we will live or die, whether we will be healthy or sick, whatever that is. Once we have given that power over to them, then they get to decide for us. I don't like people deciding for me. I like to decide for myself. But that means that I must have the wherewithal to pull my fear back, to pull my energy back, to pull my focus back into me, which is where it belongs, so that I can get the blood back in my brain and start thinking for myself and say, well, is this really true? Is this really the case? Is this really going to happen? Is all really lost? No, this is just one person trying to tell me who I am. And I know you. We do not like people to tell us who we are. We don't like to be put in boxes. We are the unusual group. We don't go into boxes. We don't act like other people. We don't think like other people. We are unique. And so in pulling the energy back into ourselves and deciding what's going to happen instead of reacting to what is happening, we establish control over our lives again, to where things heal, things change, circumstances change, situations change. What was once a hurricane is now just a little rain. Things change when we establish for ourselves what is so. This is so important to me. When we are cause to our experience, anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's why we can say here at Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, the impossible is an everyday occurrence. We do the impossible here. We have things happen. We have things fall out of the sky. We have things that weren't going to happen, and things that were going to happen, not happen, all based on our intention and our consciousness. This is what we do. I love that about us. When we can get a hold of our thinking, we get a hold of our lives. When we can decide that we are cause, then we can choose what's going to happen. But we've got to pull that focus back. And you know how seductive it is. My gosh, when someone's got some juicy gossip, isn't that tempting? You know, when everybody's talking about it, isn't that just tempting to just let yourself go for a little while and slide into that muck and mire? And even though Emerson says something sings, I don't want to stick around long enough to hear it. So even though it's tempting, we have to realize that the price that we pay is far too great to give up control of our lives. The price that we pay is far too great when we allow someone else to do our thinking for us. When we see the outside circumstances as real, these are not real. You know, they're just little photons blinking in and out of form. Is it a particle? Is it a wave? Is it a particle? Is it a wave? The reality, this level of time and space isn't even here. Half the time, you're energy. You're light. Sometimes I can see that more clearly than the physical form. So time and space is shifting with the nanoseconds. It's not real, it's not solid. What is real and what's solid is what's going on inside of us and our willingness to establish dominion over our lives. I think that's what it meant in the Bible when Adam was given dominion over all of the creatures. You know, that's all metaphorical ideas of thoughts and experiences. We have dominion over ourselves. We have dominion over the lower parts of us, the higher parts of us. All of that, we are in control, we are in charge. And we're not asking for an outside power, an outside deity to come in and save us. We don't need to be saved. We are knowing who we are and establishing in our consciousness, inside of ourselves, what our lives will be. We are practicing pulling our focus back and knowing who we are, remembering who we are, who we have come here to be, how our life is going to work. And when we do that, things happen. One reason I'm so excited about our Monday night class, who was in class on Monday night? Wasn't it fantastic? Yes, it was fantastic. One of the things that I love about this Monday night class is that I start the students off right away doing treatment. And it doesn't matter if you've ever done a spiritual mind treatment before or if you even have any idea how to do it, you get to start practicing. Focusing on what you want to focus upon, thinking about what you want to think about, so that even though there may be some experience either in your life or in the life of your partner, you get to see with your God eyes. You get to know with your God knowing. You get to be able to look beyond appearances and see the truth, claim what you want to have, and watch that show up. I love going through the textbook. I keep saying it's a deep class. I used to use this particular class when we were back in the cornfield for Prac 1. This was my Practitioner 1 class, going through the textbook and spending half of the class every week doing spiritual mind treatment so that we take the ideas and then we practice them. We put them into form. And after you do treatment work for yourself and somebody else for a while, things happen. So we begin to develop this sense of faith and trust that, oh my God, this stuff really works. If I think it, something happens. If I really let myself go into it, and if I practice some meditation, and if I open, and if I'm really clear about what I am knowing for myself or for this other person, then something is happening and things happen in the world. We are spiritual beings. We are not physical beings. We are governed by spiritual law, not physical law. That's why 157 people in Dallas last night could walk across the fire, because we are spiritual beings, and the physical laws of the universe do not dictate us. We can do all kinds of things. People say I come to them in their dreams. Okay, I can take that. When they're good dreams. You gave me this wonderful advice. Okay, yes, that must have been me. We're not physical beings, we're spiritual beings. We're not governed by physical law, but we are governed by spiritual law. And that spiritual law states that what we focus upon, we will get. That whatever it is we're obsessing about, whatever it is we are afraid of, whatever it is we are rattling off our tongue over and over again, that's what we get. So if we want to get the things we're thinking about, we need to think about the things we want to get. Right? I'll say that again. If we want to get the things we're thinking about, we've got to think about the things we want to get. So we practice. We practice seeing everybody as perfect, whole, and complete. We know that we bring our safety with us. That was one thing. I was watching myself over the week. And I did a little, oh my God, I grew up in Miami. You know, I went through some major hurricanes, and I know what hurricanes can do, but this hurricane was so far away. And so I'm going back and forth inside of my head going, Barbara, these pictures are not happening to you. They're happening to somebody else. This is not your experience. They're far away from you. Get it together. Pull yourself back. But there's a part of me that wants to get hooked by that fear. Oh my gosh, maybe I should go get, 100 cases of water. Maybe I should go do this or do that. Maybe I carry my safety with me. Maybe nothing can touch me that I don't let touch me. Maybe nothing is real unless I make it real. How is that for power? How is that for power that I can walk through anything and I carry my safety with me? I'm not looking for it on the outside. I'm not asking someone else for it. It is mine. I brought it with me and I will leave with it. I am the one in charge of my life. And it doesn't matter what happens. It's weather. I got I get this every time there's a hurricane. Please gather your entire community together to focus on dissipating the hurricane, or to move the blizzard, or to do something like that. And I remember that butter commercial back in the 80s, I think it was, and the last line was, "It's not nice to fool Mother Nature." So I figure weather is weather, and that there's a natural balance in the world, and that if some steam needs to be let off in volcanoes in Hawaii or in a hurricane in the Atlantic, then that's part of the natural balancing of Mother Earth, and Mother Earth knows what she's doing. It's not for me to say, well, this doesn't really line up in my preferences, and I'm feeling a little shaky, so I'm going to try to dissipate the cause of my fear. No. Dissipating the cause of my fear doesn't help me. What helps me is going inside and saying, I am always safe. I am always safe. I don't care what's going on, I am always safe. I am always in charge. I am always in charge. I don't care what's going on, I am always in charge. And when I get into that space, I unleash huge amounts of creative energy. Oh my gosh, well, I'm safe, so I don't have to be afraid, and I'm in charge. Well, what do I want to be in charge of? How do I want to have this work out? How do I want to see things? Well, should you cancel the celebration at the center? No. No, we should not. No. This is important stuff. You know, Rick and I were ready to move trees this morning if we had to open up driveways. But we're open because we are in charge of our experience, and we don't give up so fast. Why is it that people give up so fast? Do they just like being small, being helpless, being a victim? I think if they had a sense that they didn't have to do that, they wouldn't. But it takes a little tenacity, it takes a little stubbornness, it takes a little discipline on a mental level to hold on to these ideas that say you're powerful, more powerful than you've ever imagined. You are more loved and more precious than you could dream. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on your process. If something has come up that makes you feel like an effect, that's your cue to go within and to find your cause. It's your cue to go within and to find your power and to be able to stand up to any of the boogeymen, the goblins, the ghosts in the dark and say, I am cause to my experience. You do not rule me. You may have ruled me for decades, but you don't rule me today. I am cause to my experience. I choose what I will have, to make no more excuses. Well, I gave up because it was just so hard. No, living the way that you're living after you give up is harder than finding that within you to know who you are. That's the important part. Well, I gave up because I was confused. There's no confusion. Confusion doesn't exist. Accidents don't exist. Coincidences don't exist. We have the wisdom and intelligence of the entire universe within us, and we are creating our experience. How can there be an accident? How can there be a mistake? How can there be confusion? It doesn't exist. No more excuses for playing at the level of effect. The only thing to do is to live at the level of cause. That is the only way to live and to get what we want out of this life. We've all been through a lot to get right here. My gosh, my grandson's 14. He's going through puberty. We all went through a lot to get where we are. Don't make it for naught. Don't give up on yourself. There's nothing outside of you. Period. I was going to say there's nothing outside of you that's greater than you, but there's nothing outside of you, period. There's only that which is within. And when we shift our focus, when we practice, when we're diligent, when we're tenacious, when we're committed to this idea that we're going to pull our attention back from that which we do not wish to have, from the conditions of life, and focus only on the power and the presence within us that is manifesting joy and prosperity and health and happiness, we can do anything. We can do anything. I get to talk to a lot of people. And in speaking with them, I can often see exactly how they set up their current situation. It's not always appropriate for me to tell them that. Because people have to find their own way. And I'll rob some people of that experience if I tell them what I see so clearly, because then they won't be able to find it themselves. But I can see in people, and I can see in myself, that years of holding this energy that something can hurt us from the outside will create, sooner or later, something appearing to come from the outside with intent to harm. When that happens, give yourself a pat on the back for a wonderful creation. Take a deep breath and take your power back. Don't give up. Don't say, oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's too stressful. Oh, it's too big of a deal. No, you have it all within you. Stop being at effect. Stop being bounced around by the conditions that you created in your life and move into that consciousness of cause that says, I can do anything. I can create anything. I can be safe anywhere. I can prosper under any circumstance. I can be in my joy and love no matter what. And when we do that, something starts to come alive in us. Something clicks, something opens up, and this power comes through us to lift us into that creation. It's a wonderful experience. What I see happening to most people is that they give up. So don't give up. Hold on for just a little bit longer. Call a practitioner. Come to Monday night class. Do your treatment work. Read something that will lift you up in your world. And watch how it changes. What I love about this center is that we demonstrate this teaching over and over and over again. Demonstrate it over and over and over again, to where people come in here and they heal. They heal physically, they heal emotionally, they heal mentally, they heal their past, they heal their future, they heal their families. People come in here and heal, and healing is only coming back into alignment with who we are. We are God in form as us. We have all of the creative power of all of the universe and beyond, right at the point of us right now. If we could get a sense of that, we could do all the Jesus stuff of healing people and raising the lame to walk and walking on water and multiplying loaves and fishes. I think some of us do a lot of that already. All we have to do is get our heads screwed on straight. We were not created to be at effect of our lives. We were created as individualizations of the magnificent God self that we are. We are glorious, magnificent, spiritual beings, and we have all that we need to create anything under any circumstance. This was a really good week for me to watch myself. And whenever I see it around me, I always know that that's a part of myself that's being projected out, so I can work on that just as easily. To watch myself and see where triggers are, and to see where I can be stronger, where I can stand taller, where I can live the life that I was meant to live no matter what. That's what this teaching is about. That's what this center is about. It's not airy-fairy pie-in-the-sky stuff. It's real nitty-gritty stuff. It's about how our lives are, how we feel about our lives, what kind of life are we going to live, and the only way we get to live the great life that is here for us is to stop being at effect and always hold ourselves at cause. And when we do that, the entire power and presence of life itself lifts us, and life is amazing and wonderful and glorious. So enjoy the rain. It's just a little water. Enjoy your process and know that we're all in this together. And the more that we hold ourselves up, the better and better things get. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Our welcomers have come forward. Is there anyone here for the very first time today? Yeah, inclement weather is not usually the time one chooses to visit. So thank you all for coming. I'm really glad that you're here. And now take out what you're going to give. We'll have our prosperity acceptors come forward. And for those of you watching online, you too can be a part of this support process. Go to the Donate Now button on your YouTube page, thank you, and click it and it'll take you right to our PayPal account. And whatever you give, we're deeply, deeply grateful for. We are doing amazing work in the world. We touched 12,000 people last month. 12,000, 52,000 minutes were watched on YouTube. And if you click it on and click it off, it only counts the time you're on. So we are truly changing the world. And those of you who are such generous givers to this center, thank you. Whether you're giving through the auto giving or PayPal or having your banks send in your money, however it is you give to this center, I am truly grateful. We're moving forward with cameras that'll put us on the New Thought Network and perhaps the Wisdom Channel, and really get our exposure out there to a greater degree. Yes. You know, I'm here to change the world. And you're with me, so you're coming along for the ride. So what I like to do is open my hand, put the gift on that hand, and cover it with the other hand, bringing it to my heart. And know that whatever God is, whatever spirit is, whatever life is, it is all that there is. And this ever-expanding infinite abundance and prosperity is what I am. And so as I embrace this gift, I know that all that God is goes with this gift, and that the awareness and the consciousness and the power and presence and abundance of all that God is goes through this center and out into the world to raise the consciousness and the lives of every being on this planet. I know that each one of us comes together this day to make this Center for Spiritual Living Asheville all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And we'll repeat our investment affirmation together aloud. I freely and joyously give from the abundance of my overflowing wealth, knowing my gift goes with love as it touches and blesses the world. And so it is.